In this episode, extreme high reps to make extremely high gains.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome everyone to episode 298 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular podcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Say hello to Everest and K2 and watch the fuck out, cause they flexing on you. This is an absolutely massive podcast today. We're talking about extreme high reps, and how they're gonna help you get extreme high gains. So, obviously, without saying, knowledge nukes are going to drop upon you, so make sure you get in your fallout shelters, bring in the kids, bring in the kittens, bring in the puppies, get them out of harm's way, get your beans, get your rice, and get your bottled water. This episode 298, lit like a freaking tit. Lit! Oh, man, I love that intro. I love it so much. We are going to get yoked from our head to our feet, because Papa Swolio goes balls deep. All the way in, I'm telling you. 298, we're going full shaft today. I have had, let me just preface this. Apologize for if anyone's watching with their children, but sorry, not sorry. I have had the normal amount of caffeine plus caffeine. There's a lot of coffee in the system, and I got a couple empty cups right here, and trust me, the fact that they're empty is scary because I've gone through like a pitcher. Oh. Yeah. Cheers. All right. Today's episode 298. 298. We're getting there. 298. That's kind of like it's like the episode where we're going up the roller coaster. It's like we're kind of we're almost at the top, and it's gonna be like, pop, Swoleo! I'm just gonna go crashing down into like this big thing of water. So welcome to episode 298. Welcome to the gain train where we don't stop until we get to Boston, Mass. Bing! Everest and K2 are along for the ride. These topographical gains are sick, and 298 is lit like a tit. Extreme high reps. Extreme high reps, people. I've been getting a lot of questions lately that have revolved around how many reps should I do, how many sets should I do, and let's be honest, let's get the bullshit out of the way first, because Papa Swole, we're always crushing bullshit here on the Daily Swole. There's no correct rep range. There's no like rep range where this is what you have to do, this is how you get huge, this is how you get results. It doesn't really work like that. Certain muscles respond better to certain rep ranges. That comes down to what percentage of type 1 and type 2 fibers you have in those body parts. And usually when you have larger muscle groups, the superficial muscles like the pecs, the pectoralis major, like the lats, the biceps, the triceps, a lot of times these muscles are a much higher percentage of type 2 fibers. And those are fast twitch fibers. Those are the muscle fiber types. And you might not know that. You might not have known already. You might not have watched those other episodes of the Daily Swole. But there are many different types of, I shouldn't say many, but there are a few different types of muscle fibers. For all intent and purposes, today we're going to talk about type 1 and type 2. So type 2 fibers are fast twitch, type 1 are slow twitch. So you have two different roles. And just before I get more into it, I just want to welcome everyone that's still pouring in now on Facebook Live. Thanks for watching every day at 12 noon Eastern Time to Daily Swole. Thanks for watching on YouTube and listening to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. So all this information that you might have missed, if you missed any of this, like, oh, type 1 fibers, what the hell is a type 1 fiber? What the hell is a type 2 fiber? What the hell is a fucking muscle fiber? I've never heard this in my life. There are other episodes, so if you need to do a search, it's a little bit hard to do that on Facebook. You can always go on my YouTube channel at Swolenormous, and here's how you do that. You actually type in the keyword. Let's say you want to know about fat loss. Type in lose weight or shoulder. Let's say you want to know about abs. Type in abs. Type in any keyword you want and then Swolenormous. So type in nutrition space Swolenormous. Type in shoulder space Swolenormous. Type in calves space Swolenormous. Type in gains space Swolenormous. And every fucking episode is going to pile up. oh my God, there's so many of them getting gains. They're everywhere. So you'll find that's a great way to search because they're all on YouTube. It's a great way to search. So I highly recommend that if you haven't yet. That being said, oh, hold on. I gotta, hold on. I want to make sure that's, who records at that frame rate? That doesn't happen. Okay. That's just the YouTube. 80 frames per second. Yeah, it's an excellent tip for searching. When you're on YouTube, that's how you search. That's how you search. It's fantastic. And I know a lot of you ask me like, hey, you should talk more about this. And I'm like, boom, boom, I post up 5 videos. Hey, you should talk more about this. Boom, post up 5 videos. All you gotta do is go to YouTube and search because it's there. Do your homework a little bit. And I don't push you to YouTube because I just want you, I don't want to answer your question, but because I've answered these questions already. So the best way to do it, to save your time and my time and just be more efficient, is for you to go watch those things because I might answer your question. And if it doesn't, you have the idea of what I've already covered. You have the idea of like what my mindset is on certain questions and certain topics, and then you can ask me maybe a more advanced question, more specific, and then they'll help you more. So it'll help everything better. So just do a little more research and just do a type of search, just letting you know that there's a great way to search on YouTube. So there's type 1 and type 2 fibers. So it's type 2 fibers, the fast twitch, are the ones we've talked about that produce more force, but they have shorter endurance. They don't last as long. They're the superficial muscles that provide a lot of force that can get bigger. These type 2 fibers are the ones that usually get yoked like it ain't no joke, right? That's a type 2, that's like one big type 2 fiber right there, Everest. When you talk about type 1 fibers, you have more endurance fibers. These are, largely found in the forearms and the calves, and this is the reason why those muscle groups are harder to grow in general. So people are like, oh, I'm trying to get my forearms bigger, I'm trying to get my calves bigger, because these muscles are naturally higher in type 1 fiber content. They're not designed to get large. They're not designed to get massive. It's just the way the muscle's designed, because you're designed to walk long distances. You're designed in certain places with your body to function at a high level for endurance, not for strength production. That's why you have a combination. But just because you have a chest and lats and biceps doesn't mean that they're all type 2 fibers. You have a combination in every muscle. Most muscles have a combination of both. Except things like the diaphragm, that's designed to increase and decrease the thoracic space that allows for you to take your breath every day. That's like pretty much, I don't even think there's a type 2 fiber in there, but you could check the science on that. But it's like 99.9% type 1 fibers because it works constantly until the day you die. So endurance. Now, when we're talking about rep ranges, there are scientifically proven across the main, plateau, the main, standard deviation, if you want to talk statistics, there is a high percentage, and when you talk about this, there's a high percentage, Popeye the Sailor did it. I love Facebook Live. If anyone's watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast, you got to get on this Facebook Live because people say the darndest things. Swolenormous Nation says the darndest things. So Alexander, Popeye had huge forearms. So if you want to, you can go talk to Popeye and ask him about his forearm gains. In my opinion, Popeye had forearm gains because olive oil wasn't putting out. Just saying. Getting back to the rep ranges. There is a standard deviation. There is the large percentage of the population that will benefit from doing reps like 6 to 12 repetitions, short, moderate reps with a heavier volume. That's like how you get hypertrophy. However, there are things like drop sets, extreme high rep sets, burnout sets that can help flush the muscle full of blood, that can help stimulate muscle growth. If you only do high reps, your body is going to adapt more towards high repetition training. More endurance, less muscular size overall, doing like high repetitions. If you're doing more heavyweight, lower repetitions, your body's going to adapt more towards that. It doesn't mean that you can never do high repetitions. I want to bulk up. Doesn't mean you can never do high reps. Or I want to do high repetitions. I want more endurance. Doesn't mean you can never go heavy. It just means that what you constantly expose your body to is what the end result will be, right? What you constantly expose yourself to. The constant adaptation. Like if I live down here, which I am, in Miami for 8 months out of the year, and then every once in a while for a couple weeks I go up to Connecticut or I go up to New York and I go into the freezing cold, I'm not going to adapt to the cold in just a week or two. I'm not going to acclimate that quickly. by the time I come back, I'm still used to the warm weather. So it takes a little bit longer for your body to adapt. And that's why these random workouts or these little sections where you're doing high rep burnout or heavyweight is not going to change what you normally do on a daily basis in your gym and your training. So when you're doing your heavy weights, if you're trying to bulk, let's talk about from a muscle building standpoint, because anyone that's watching this, if you're trying to get stronger, if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to lose weight, you're still trying to build muscle, right? You're still trying to build muscle so you can lose weight. You're still trying to, if you're skinny, you're trying to build muscle. So we're all on the path of building muscle. And then nutrition and scheduling and everything else is going to come into play, whether or not you want to build muscle more, you want to lose fat more. We'll talk about that. But for building muscle, extreme high reps can be extremely effective. Drop sets. Let's say you're doing a bench press. At the end of your set or at the end of your exercise, your series of exercise sets for that one exercise. Let's say you're doing bench press. After the 4th set, the 5th set, you do a drop set. You do your 10, 12 repetitions, and then you drop the weight to the bar, and you do a set of like 50, or you stay under the bar until you get 100. You rest it on your chest, and you just keep on going until you get to that number 100. You do extreme high reps to fully fatigue the type 2 fibers, because there are properties of type 2 fast twitch fibers that correlate and cover over fast twitch, and there's also fast kind of slow twitch. Like there's 2 different types of fast twitch fibers, and the science keeps going getting more detailed and deep with this. But in other words, you're getting deeper into the muscle tissue. You're getting deeper and you're breaking down further into the different levels of the muscle tissue. And it's not just shock, it's just complete fatigue, and it's getting you past that threshold. So either you do the same reps and the same weight over and over again until eventually you're not getting many reps and you're just fatigued, or you break down, you get deeper into the muscle. I like to say deeper. We talk about going balls deep. You're getting deeper into the muscle tissue, and you do drop sets and complete fatigue at the end of a workout or at the end of a set. You can also just do extreme high reps. There are certain body parts like the shoulders that are great for type 2 fiber composition. They're also very high in type 1 fiber because the shoulders get used in everything. So it's not just always whether something has type 1 fibers or type 2 naturally, genetically, it's also what they're exposed to. The shoulder area, the shoulder muscles, those muscles in the shoulder, whether or not they're type 2 largely or type 1 largely based on your genetic composition, they are used frequently, whether you're doing chest, whether you're doing back. So regardless of their fiber composition, you have situations where the fibers will act like a different fiber type. Type 2 can act like type 1 more. Type 1 can act more like type 2. So it's all about you stimulating growth for these muscles. So the shoulder, whether or not the natural composition is more type 1 or type 2, you have the shoulder muscles, the deltoids, that are exposed straight up to more force. So what do? Do you train the shoulders less because they're already getting hit? Or do you train them more frequently or harder when you have a shoulder day because they already get so much stress, they're used to it, they're numb to it, you need to push them a little bit harder. And you're gonna have to figure that out for yourself. Some people don't train shoulders much. I always recommend not training the anterior deltoid too much because you're already getting so much of that from chest and you're already compensating a lot from rounded shoulders and being hunched over. So working too much the anterior part of the deltoid isn't, in my opinion, the best choice, but working the side, the medial head, working the posterior deltoid, that's huge because it gives you more of a 3D appearance. So you could do things like extreme high reps for shoulders, doing sets of 50, try it, you'll freak the hell out. In my program, the 90-day dash, you see the logo up there, in that program, there are exercises where we do long hold isometrics, longer time under tension as burnout sets. We do that for biceps. There are a lot of different ways where we'll use isometrics, partial range of motion, pulse reps. There are different ways to dig deeper into the muscle fibers. My point being, if your goal is to build muscle, you should keep generally your rep ranges between 6 and 12, 6 and 15, depending on your experience and your overall volume and your training history and your goals and your any injuries and what exercise you're choosing and so forth. But you need to throw in those high rep sets or those extreme high rep sets where you choose, instead of doing 3 sets of 12 reps or 5 sets of 10 reps, you say, okay, on this exercise, I'm gonna go as heavy as I can and I'm gonna do this exercise until I do 100 repetitions. So you do a couple things. You either do 2 sets of 50 with a lighter weight or you do 10 sets of 10 with a heavier weight. You can do your workout based on volume. Do your workout based on overload. Do your workout based on reps. Mix it up. These are also great ways to, how should I say this? Like turn the light bulb on in your mind, because if you are burnt out mentally, you're tired of doing the same shit. You know it works, your bodybuilding split, but you get tired of going there doing these exercises for these many reps. You get tired of doing this afterwards. You just get tired of that routine. So keep your routine. And I've always said before, your body has to adapt to something. So if you change things up too much, CrossFit style, you're not gonna adapt to much. You're gonna get a little bit of results, you're gonna overload your body, your chances are you're gonna get injured, you're not aiming towards a specific goal. If you wanna build muscle, you need to segment. You need to do more volume. Okay. So that being said, and there's a reason why I say that. I'm not saying it's impossible to build muscle doing total body workouts, but there's a reason why professional, amateur, all types of bodybuilders do split routines, because the muscles need more volume per body part. It's just what people do because that's how the body reacts. There's a reason. Think about it. Why do people do that? There's no bodybuilder that does total body workouts all the time. There's a fucking reason, because the body will develop when you segment body parts. When you do chest and triceps, chest and back, chest and shoulders, when you do chest only, arm day, back day, leg day. There's a reason why we call these things what they are, because the body adapts and can use more volume per body part to stimulate growth. It's just what most people do because that's what works for most people. You could be a freak, you could be different. You could be different, and that's great, but you have to figure that out. But this is what works for 95% of the population, right? So mix it up. If you get bored, it doesn't mean you have to change, oh, I'm not gonna do that, I'm just gonna go swimming every day for a week. Well, you don't necessarily have to just throw off your whole routine, just change some of the acute variables, change the repetitions, change how you carry out your chest workout, change how you carry out your leg workout, give it a different thought. Instead of doing sets and reps, okay, I'm doing this exercise, this many sets, this many reps. Boring, do it for time. Set a timer for 10 minutes and be like, okay, I'm gonna do bench press in any way I want to, heavy, light, whatever I feel naturally, until that buzzer goes off for 10 minutes. I'm just gonna rep, rest, put on more weight, do less reps, whatever it takes. Whatever I feel like doing, which is as much content as I can in that 10 minutes. When the 10-minute buzzer goes off, I go to my next exercise. Do 3 exercises, 10 minutes each, and just fucking hammer it out for 10 minutes. 30 seconds rest, do 6, 7 sets, but it's a different way to think about it. Say, okay, I'm gonna do this exercise for 100 reps. I'm gonna do this one for 100 reps. And then pick a weight and start repping it out. Okay, I did 10. Let me pick this one. Oh, I did 5. Okay, rest. Let me grab this one. I did 15. And you're up to whatever the hell that is, 30 reps. And you just keep on going until you get to 100, next exercise. Mix it up, but keep your split, but it's a great way to mix things up. Great way to change it up, and you can keep your body fresh. So extreme high reps does work. It does work. I've done partial reps. You're grabbing heavy ass dumbbells and just kind of fluttering it for 100 repetitions. Trust me. And you're going heavier than you could possibly go to even get it up halfway, but you're overloading a certain partial range of motion. And there's gonna be more stuff on that. There's gonna be more content for my premium group. There's gonna be more content on, in my exclusive training group, Premium, which you can, if you're interested in joining, you can click the link in the description of this broadcast. But that's where a lot of this juice is coming out. I'm squeezing a lot of juice into Premium because that's the collection of people that are really serious about getting shit done, applying all this knowledge. And those are some of the things that I like to get into. Those are things I like, the concepts I like to talk about. Is that true that is there sound? I get people giving thumbs up, so I'm assuming there is sound. I just saw a thing saying no sound, but I think I would have seen that before. So I'm getting a lot of thumbs up. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. So might want to just restart Ramon. If you're not getting sound, you might just want to exit out and come back in. So I got sound. Good. That kind of scared me for a second. I'm like, shit, I got no sound. Hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully it sounds good because I changed a little bit how I did the sound. Okay, you hear me. Good. All right. So Ramon, everyone all of a sudden will go, I want so much sound and so much gain. So change it up. High rep range, extreme high rep. Try that. Try to do your sets based on repetition. It could just be exactly what you need just to overturn and make it fresh. Remember, it doesn't have to be completely different to be new for your body. It doesn't have to be completely different for you to shock your body. I think the whole muscle confusion thing, the whole mixing shit up, I think everyone gets it confused and tries to mix things up too much. Because remember, there's the adaptation principle. You need to allow your body that ability to adapt to a stimulus. And if you change it up too much, you can't adapt. Your body just reacts. Your body, if you change too many things up at the same time, this is what happens. Your body survives, it doesn't thrive. Your body will react and defend itself against a new stress. That's what building and changing is. Your body will defend itself against a new stress. If that stress is present enough for a long enough period of time, your body will grow to be able to handle it. Otherwise, your body just plays defense. In a single workout that you change, your body is defensive. But if you give that stress over and over and over again, your body will be forced to adapt. And if you do so safely, it won't get injured. It'll develop bigger, stronger, faster, whatever that stimulus is. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 298 of the Daily Mother Swole. Obviously, the most muscular podcast in this realm, because of course, when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Hopefully all of you are getting wide angle, widescreen. You might have to pan left and right. I hope I can get this all on the phone because it is just getting really, really huge over here. And I'm sorry if you can't get it all on your phone. You might need an iPhone Plus or one of those like Galaxy Plus. You might need like an iPad to get or broadcast it on like a projection screen. So just saying. But thank you so much for joining me for episode 298. We're getting there. We're getting there. Episode 300 on Thursday. Thanks for joining me live at 12 noon Eastern time. Every day, of course, on Facebook at Swolenormous. Thanks for watching on YouTube at Swolenormous again, and on the podcast, SoundCloud and iTunes. So stay tuned every day, 12 noon Eastern time. A lot of amazing shit is going on. Got a lot of great stuff in the works. Trust me, I am hustling over here to bring you some awesome shit in the very, very near future. So thank you for surviving these knowledge nukes. Remember, as always, leave about 5 to 10 minutes after this broadcast to leave your fallout shelters. I don't want anyone getting no radiation. You heard? Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow for 299.